Hey everyone, Jody from Bird Dog Off-Road Adventures.
Evan with the Adventures of Rogers and Henderson.
And Derek and Monica with Bronco Adventures.
It's always the opposite. So, like, if I'm doing it like I'm looking at on the screen, it goes the opposite way. So I have to remember to do this opposite of what I'm trying to point to. Anyway, awesome, guys. Glad to have you guys back. We saw you all at the SEMA show. Man, I was blown away. It's a beautiful job you guys did on that Bronco. It looks really, really nice. The videos and pictures only do it so much justice, but I was really impressed by the attention to detail you guys did. Just a testament of, how hard you guys worked on that thing. Because I know you guys were, pumping the midnight oil, so to speak, to get it ready in time.
Yeah, well, we appreciate it. It was, a lot of work, a lot of sleepless nights, and just this idea that was in our head, and put it, out there. So
yeah.
Now we're excited to get back using the thing. SEMA was fun, but you can only do car show stuff so long. So.
Well, I mean, to be honest with you, that's a once in a lifetime opportunity, in my opinion. I mean, not everybody gets to go every year and have their stuff presented, unless you're like a vendor. But I definitely, envy you guys. That was a pretty cool gig, and Fabian and his crew for having you all there. It was pretty amazing.
Yeah. Well, and it was awesome to finally meet you as well. So
yeah,
the internet stuff just doesn't do it justice.
We'll just say that was a minor highlight.
We were excited. SEMA's long week working and walking around and talking, and they're getting late nights and stuff. And so now that everything's kind of calmed back down to normal, we're, chomping at the bit to get to the next thing. So,
So how is it? I mean, of course, it's one thing to go there and just look at stuff, but is there anything y'all like to share as far as like how it felt just to be in it, to be part of it versus just being somebody that's visiting, kind of, so to speak?
It was crazy. It was not at all what I expected. I mean, I feel like you see all these SEMA videos and it's all like specific booths, but walking into that building that was just one hall and one little section of this whole giant space. I mean, we got to walk around for a few hours and God, we didn't even see 20% of it,
Yeah.
So it was massive. I was very taken aback by the scale of the whole thing.
And there again, the thing that I realized was, growing up watching videos and stuff about SEMA, you always seen the like really high end stuff. There's some stuff there that's like, man, I think my 7-year-old could have put this better. It just wasn't like meeting my expectation of it. But then I took a little more real world approach and kind of looked at some of these vehicles, and you could tell the ones that actually got used.
Mm-hmm.
There was purpose built stuff there that's why it was built, was for the show. But then you seen the ones that had the scratches and the dings and stuff hanging off the bottom of it, and they're not perfect, but you realized, oh man, they actually go out and enjoy their stuff. And then because the world of social media, you look it up and there's the proof, So as some of the things didn't meet my expectations, I realized really quick though, my Bronco fit right in. It wasn't perfect and it never will be, but we use it and enjoy it. So yeah, it was kind of crazy on that. But then the stuff that was like, winning the awards and stuff, that was, amazing.
Yeah.
Sorry. One of my dogs yelped. I think his reacted. So we're live, folks. This ain't scripted.
But no, it was fun. It was definitely an experience. One thing I didn't realize, SEMA isn't just a car show. It isn't just a event, to go to.
Mm-hmm.
SEMA has like everybody's back that's in the off-roading industry or the hot rodding community or drifting or any form of racing. They have that, I guess, financial means to support things like that. And so that's something that I learned about it. It's not just once a year in Vegas. They're actually an organization that does a ton of stuff.
Yeah.
So,
well, I know some of the laws that they've passed over the years. You hear the Magnuson Act. I know a lot of people quote that when they're talking about warranties and stuff, but and there's probably a gazillion more besides that, and that's just the one that pops to my head initially. But these over stringent emissions laws and some of these laws that where they used to say you couldn't do X, Y, and Z to a car, SEMA, from my understanding, has stepped in a lot of those cases and got that changed. So, I mean, it's not just a giant car show where everybody just shows off their stuff and tries to sell you stuff. They actually have a purpose.
Yeah, and I had no idea walking into SEMA. I didn't know a whole lot about it, so it was really cool to learn all that.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
no, it was fun.
Okay. I was going to say, guys, I see Dave and Kelly and Jess on here. They were there as well. So
yes, that was the other thing that was also really fun, was seeing, number one, people we haven't met like Dave and Kelly yet. We, talked a bunch of times, but actually meeting in person was awesome. But then the fact of just everybody that's involved in the Bronco community.
Yeah, the first 2 days were like nonstop.
Yeah,
just people we've met, people we haven't met, people from Instagram, from YouTube. It was very, very humbling, and I thought it was really neat.
I can tell you all about the Armadillo hardtop. You got any questions, just send them right over. So, but no, it was awesome. So I'd say we'd do it again, but I don't think I would do as much as we did to the Bronco. Not that I don't think we overdid it, but if we would have done a little bit less, we would have had a much easier timeline to work with. So we bit off a lot, but we got it on there. So
getting the fenders to line up, the hardest part.
Yeah.
Well, the doors.
Well, yeah. So just the body kit in general, that was a struggle. It's still not perfect. Some of the stuff we had to do to get it on there,
in time.
Yeah, I need, now that we have the time, I need to actually correct a bit of it. So, and then there's some stuff that we weren't able to paint because it was just, we're running into that deadline. So we got it good enough, but there'll be some stuff we have to correct here shortly. But now that we have the time, it's no big deal,
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, the body kit was a bear. Lining up the fenders and doors and the door cap pieces, I bet you we're easily 30 to 45 hours just in that. So
of just fitment, like nothing else.
Yeah.
Now, was the body kit part of the original plan, or that just kind of happened?
We've always wanted to do the Fun Haver kit, but it was one of those that nobody had it. And so when we got the opportunity to get this one from, what was his name?
Jason.
Jacob.
There we go. Jacob.
Anyway, he had it and he was going to install it, and he went to a body shop, and for the cost of it, he decided, well, rather do suspension and all this stuff. So he threw it up for sale, and we were able to make a deal with him. And so the body kit wasn't initially like on the list of a planned thing, but when we were able to source it, that's when we're like,
SEMA was like a really good excuse to get it done.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah. Well, like I said before, it's kind of like one of those things to where for most people, it's a once in a lifetime experience. So you might as well go all out and make it, as memorable
as possible. That's where I was at with the whole thing.
Yeah.
Now's the time.
So
Dave said, "I'm happy you had a drive shaft, Derek."
We talked about removing it just to be funny, but
I just hope to see how people notice.
Yeah. What most people didn't notice, and I didn't really bring it up, is our front differential's leaking. So the carpet was just soaking that thing up.
Oh, wow. I'm surprised nobody smelled it.
It's a really slow leak, but it's definitely, it's got a little drip coming off the passenger side. So,
oh, well.
But there again, we got the time now. There's nothing that we're really pushing up against timeline wise other than just some local stuff, but we can kind of fine tune it.
Yeah.
So problem is it's getting cold now. So going out to the shops, like, oh man, that seems like a bad decision.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen some of your all's videos where you can see your breath like blowing out from your face as you're talking.
Yeah, there's gonna be more of that.
That's one thing. No offense, Evan. That's one thing I don't miss about living near Chicago is walking out to work on your car and then your fingers will be completely numb. Yep. You can't even grip anything.
All right, and it doesn't even fit in the garage. So,
well, that's why I had a condo. I was out in the back. I remember I had some videos of mine where it was like there was like snow everywhere, and I was still working on the car. And I thought people must think I'm a damn idiot. They wouldn't be far off, but yeah, that was pretty cool. Of course, Dave on here. I know he did a video of your all's vehicle walk around. I know you guys got your own videos of it. So if anybody's watching this now or later, if you haven't had a chance to check out Derek Monica's beautiful, beautiful SEMA rig. Be sure and check out one of the videos out there. Like I said, I was really impressed. My favorite part, I'm gonna just be honest with you guys, was the dash. I know it's probably the least important in most people's eyes, but that red carbon fiber look thing that you guys did, that I was really impressed how that was set up and how that looked, and it looked 100% professional in every bit of the way. So
Awesome.
Yeah, I appreciate it. That was the one thing when we got it back and we started putting it together. We're like, oh man, maybe this is
It's
a little
like a
too much.
Car
but
show thing now.
there again, it's like driving a brand new vehicle in the sense of it's just a totally different feel. So it's kind of cool.
Well, don't worry, I'll have some sand hollow dust on it here before too long.
Oh
Oh,
yeah,
it does.
yeah, it already
does.
does. We
Oh,
stopped.
yeah, because y'all were there. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's some
So,
sand in there. Scott's here. What's up, Scott?
Whoop. So Scott, I hate to say this, but you're tied for my second favorite Braptor now. Sorry, buddy. First is the guy I wheeled with this past weekend. He had 40s on it. And then you and Austin will have to be tied for second for now until one of you make a drastic change. So
Yeah.
I do have to give a huge shout out to Dave and Kelly for hanging out for a while
Oh,
and
yeah.
for doing that video, because that is one of our favorite videos out there of the whole SEMA build and what we put into it. So
Yeah.
we throw that out there.
Yeah.
Can't jump. That's right, Scott.
Yep. I did talk to that guy, just not to get to our subject, but because first thing I thought of is that, when I met Mitchell Watts at Supercell East, he has the 40s on his with the E-Box springs. And he had just done a video not long before he got there. And he told me that his still rubbed. And I think we talked about that either with Scott or Austin one when they were on here in the past. And this guy, he bought it that way. There's a couple of car lots here that do nothing but specialize in lifted trucks. And of course, the joke I have is that you have to have a penis smaller than 4 inches to even fill out a loan application for it. It's because the name of it's called lifted trucks. So, but anyway, he said he bought it that way, but he didn't really know. He said that he'd never had it rubbed. He was articulating pretty good out there, but I don't know if he's ever jumped it. But I'd have to think if I was going to try to do 40s on a Braptor, I would have to have some bump stops or something. I don't know if the bump springs things will work on those, but I'd have to have something back there to at least lighten the blow, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He says that now, but you wait and see 6 months from now, he'll probably have a set on his.
I'll just jump straight to 42s.
Yeah.
Just blow the fenders right off.
Yeah, you don't need fenders.
Come on.
Yeah. Fenders.
They unbolt real easy.
I
If
mean-
anybody needs help figuring out how to do that, let
Yeah.
me know.
We only
Yeah.
did it 40 times.
I wish we could get Dave and Kelly out here for by Bronco and their Braptor.
I know.
Yeah.
Dave and Kelly. Cough, cough.
I keep forgetting that they have one now because I'm so used to seeing Becca, the old one, the red one, Kelly's Bronco. But that one they have, I love that color, that shelter green. That's one of my favorite colors. But
Yeah.
so I know that I watched All Terrain Nation last night. So I know some people, if for whatever reason, I doubt many people watch this that hadn't already seen them, but check them out. They did a good Black Friday special yesterday where they went through some of the vendors they've worked with and highlighted some of their products. So it was pretty cool. But speaking of Black Friday, you guys looking? Evan, we'll start with you, and then we'll go around. Evan, are you looking at anything in particular catching your eye, or you got your eye out for?
74 Weld posted a good one for Black Friday today.
Even with their discount, it's still out of my price range. But yeah, anything in particular you looking at there?
Well, their steering, it's 15% off all their steering stuff. So it's for the stage 3 billet rack, free shipping. For whatever reason, they don't charge sales taxes, like $820 off or something like that.
Wow. I wonder how they get by with that being in California.
I don't know.
It's kind of interesting. I thought California just taxed you for breathing.
Well, I mean, Illinois charges an online sales tax too, so I don't know why it didn't calculate at checkout, but it said no sales tax.
Yeah. Time to hit up our old buddy Affirm. Man, that's a good. I tell you what, man, they have good stuff though. If I was in your shoes and I had the means to do it, I'd definitely go for it.
It's the only thing I'm worried about.
Yeah. I often fantasize about what it'd be like just to have unlimited money and just buy whatever you want.
Mhm.
I'd get their portals, their steering rack, a bunch of
That'd
other
be
stuff doing all that.
Yeah.
I mean, if you buy the portals, you get a free steering rack. They might be onto something for.
Well, I mean, comparatively, that'd probably be well. How much discount do they have on their portals? I wonder.
It's
$1,000.
1,000.
So it probably they wouldn't be much cheaper to do something like that. Well, no, because their rack's what, $5,000 if you buy the nicest one. Yeah. That might be a little steep. I retract my previous statement. Anything else on your site?
Portable power. That's about it.
Yeah.
That one we borrowed for the Rubicon, it was like a 500 watt hour unit, and it worked just enough to power the fridge for 3 days, but
Really?
And charge the GoPros, but not enough for anything else. It only ran the fridge at night. It didn't. Well, like during the day, it was plugged into the Bronco. So if we would have been running it continuously off the battery, it would have been toast by the end of day one, I think.
I was about to say, does yours not have the pass-through feature to where?
So because I borrowed it from a buddy, I didn't get the car plug for the use, so we had to charge it at the hotel before we hit the road. So like we could only charge it on a wall outlet.
Okay. Because I know I got the Rock Piles box. It's a 500 watt, but it's got that pass through. Because I know if you have it plugged into your cigarette lighter, or what I call cigarette lighter, I don't know what they call it nowadays, your auxiliary output, whatever, in the back, and run it through, and then run it from the box to the fridge. When the truck's running, it just passes through and recharges the box.
Yeah. Well, that box that we borrowed might have done that if I had the car plug for the box.
Oh man, if I was done that, I could have brought one of mine. I got multiple. Anyway, yeah, that's a good investment, especially for these long road trips. Especially you guys, because you have to drive so far to get out here.
All right, so like the whole way out, she was using it to like while I was driving, she was editing the pictures from the previous day, so she could charge her computer off of the power box and get to the hotel for the night, and she could recharge the power box.
Yeah,
but it'd be nice if I had the plug and it had pass through. I just don't know if that particular one did or did not have it.
Okay, cool. Derek, Monica, are you guys have anything you're eyeing?
I was gonna tell our dead battery at SEMA story.
Oh yeah, go for it.
Since we're talking about power, all week it was dead, and I was disappointed.
Yeah,
I was really excited to show off the lights because they're cool.
Some lights may or may not have melted. So
yeah,
it's fine.
I mean,
so yeah, it's really interesting when the Broncos battery die and you have to hold the brake to start it. Boy, the brake pedal just starts kicking you back and stuff. Like it gets very upset.
And
like
then at some
all
point,
the codes,
it started strobing. Even the interior lights just started. It was very upset with us that week for not driving it.
So. Yeah, it took a couple hours driving around Vegas to get all the codes to start going away. I mean, you name it, the whole dash was lit up.
Yeah.
So
all the lights were on. Yeah. No 4-wheel drive, no goat modes.
Yeah.
So we left SEMA, drove out of the West Hall, and went back and forth on the strip and sat in traffic and all.
Yeah. I thought I was gonna just need to go buy a new battery, but luckily it started, clearing up. So
Scott says it was possessed. It was probably very mad.
I think it was just pissed. Like it was not happy. But a couple of the controllers for like our rock lights and stuff, as we were driving, I was like, that doesn't smell right. And
you said it smells like an electrical fire. And
yeah, well, it's because it was starting one. So pulled over on the side of the road and just pulled the wires out, so there's more things to fix. Still.
Yeah.
Smart move. Very smart move.
So,
awesome.
But yeah, in our case, I mean, of course, we're watching and looking at sales, and we'll share some of them, like for Metal Cloak and
Metal
things.
Cloak has got a lot of giveaways going on this week in general.
Yeah,
they're sending cash out with orders. They're doing all sorts of sales. So.
Yeah. But with
good-
everything we just did to the Bronco, we're not
Yeah.
doing anything more for a while. You know,
We got
the
Christmas.
wallet was also on fire too. Like, had to rip that thing out of the pocket and throw it.
Oh, I can imagine. Yeah. But you know what? Like you said, YOLO.
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, Meltech, I've used their arms. They're pretty good, really good company. I know David brought them up last night too. So,
Mhm.
you know, they're real high quality. I know the arms, I can't speak for the skids, but the arms, when they initially came out, they were very, very reasonably priced, you know, compared to some of the competitors that was out there. Of course, this was still early in the game when everybody was still heavy on the Bronco tax, but I know Metal Cloak come out with a more realistic price, competitive price, plus their reputation. You know, I talked to the shops up in Chicago that I'd used, and they all had nothing but positive things to say about those guys. So,
Yeah, so the cool part about Metal Cloak, I think, is that we know all the people there, and even at SEMA, most of their staff that was there swung by, said hi. They're all made right in California, so it's all made in the USA.
Yeah.
And we got to see kind of the behind the scenes of where they make things and how. And
Yeah.
I really like their
It's really
team.
cool process.
Yeah.
That coating that they use. It's
yeah.
really tough, but then sometimes when you try to clean it, it actually comes off really easy. Don't use steel wool. As much as a good idea as it seems like, it just scratches the hell out of it.
Does not shiny it up.
No, I thought it would. But yeah, no, their stuff's awesome. I'm excited to try their skid plates. As you know, we've had Talon's Garage skid plates, and they've worked quite well. But with this, now it's kind of going to be interesting to see how these react, because anybody can go out and beat up skid plates. You know, that's not hard to do, but there again, the goal is to stay off of them too. So
Yeah.
So we'll report back on that.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll put them through their paces.
We've never had lower control arm skids. We've never had the rear
differential skid,
coil over, the diff skid.
Oh yeah, shock skids. Yeah,
Shock
we
skid,
had
yeah,
we
all
didn't
the-
have those.
All the things
And those brackets were screwed up. A lot of
Yeah.
heat
I know,
in
so
ratchet straps and pulling those things back straight. And then we got them to
Oh,
fit.
bet.
now they're protected.
Yeah.
Evan, did you have any issues with your brackets back there from the Rubicon? I can't remember.
No, but I spun my driver's side rock jock bracket on the axle.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
I know I looked at mine and crawled up under it, and those I got the Metal Cloak. I'm trying to think. It's not the shock mount; it's the trailing arm mount that's right beside it, and it definitely got hit because on the edges you could see where it scraped really good when I was on the Rubicon. Probably just because I'm a bad driver, but you know, but those definitely got a good workout when we were there. So.
Yeah, no, I'm excited. It'll be with all these changes to the Bronco. It's going to be fun to actually see how it, off-roads differently. So the 37s, I've already on the rear rubbed the inner wheel well on it, which
the back part of the inner fender, the DV8 inner fender.
Yeah.
The
reason that happened is because on the trailing arms, I moved the rear end a 1/4 inch back. So I believe if I hadn't have done that I would have been totally fine in the spot we were in.
Is it that little lip that you talked about in your video?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because I thought about that because I'm obviously y'all know I'm fixing to put mine on too, but I thought about that. Part of me was like, should I just go ahead and cut it off and be done with it, or should I wait? But
yeah,
we're just gonna cut it.
Yeah, is what I did just for temporary on the trail is I just pushed it back and then kind of flexed it backwards more. And since I did that, I haven't touched it. So I'll kind of keep an eye on it. The issue is if that lower corner gets hooked and pulled too hard, it does go through that little plastic piece for one of those rib nuts. And if that breaks, then, that whole body cap piece would technically have to be replaced to fix that. So it may be easier just to cut that off before it becomes a problem.
Yeah. I'm out planning on going with bigger tires, but Evan and I talked before when we were having issues with my drive shaft, even with the Rock Jock sway bar and with the Adams drive shaft. And Ed can tell you this too. You see him, but every time you get high articulation, that drive shaft still hits that spot. It's like extreme articulation. I just went wheeling this past weekend, and I told Evan, I said, I may have heard it maybe once hit, and that was just flexing really, really, really hard. But most even moderate flexing, it doesn't seem to be an issue since I removed the Rock Jock sway bar. I won't put those sumo springs on, so I'm watching your all's video for that this weekend.
They're awesome.
Yeah.
I truly love them. In fact, we're going to change because of all the weight that we've added to the Bronco now.
Yeah.
Between the roof rack and the storage box and stuff, I'm gonna buy the black springs, and I want to do a comparison between the black and blue, just to see how much
They're
stiffer they
Yeah.
are. And so we'll do that as a video.
So
as
is there
well.
a difference in like the compression ratio or something? Or
Yeah.
what?
Yeah, they've got 3 stages of it. Their yellow ones are the softest. Blue is the in between, then black's the stronger of them.
So you can say you're going to beat your Broncos black and blue.
Right. Yep.
Ha ha! Dad joke of the day.
We'll get some GoPros under there and see, because there again, because of the extra weight, I think it makes sense to go to a little stiffer one. But
Yeah,
Scott.
that's what she said. Right, Evan? Anyway, but no, what I was going with earlier, so me and Evan were talking about because of the drive shaft issue, we were talking about maybe going down to SDHQ or somewhere here locally in Phoenix and have them try to play with those arms upper and lower in the rear to see if we can get that to where it's minimized just by tuning that, so to speak. So that's the reason why I was kind of curious. When you mentioned that, you think that's what caused yours to hit. I may just, since I've got them off and didn't put them on you, I might just go ahead and cut that off.
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah.
So how's your drive shaft actually hitting the fuel tank? Because in my mind, it's got to be coming up, but then it's got to be like, is it when like the passenger side comes up, it wants to?
So it's kind of weird because it's when it's only two wheels that does it. So at the front driver's side, when it's up, when it goes up really high, it pulls the yoke forward and over towards the drive shaft. And whenever you have the rear passenger flexed up high, it does the same thing, except it's farther back. It's kind of interesting because what I did, I took that ramp that I bought for like shows and stuff. And you all may remember a couple of months ago, I put some pictures out here in front of it with both tires up and posted on Instagram. But, that's what I could see in there. And that's with the stock drive shaft on. But you can see it, and Evan's seen it before too, whenever we were at the Rubicon, is that little metal, I don't know what you call it, shield, for lack of a better term, that comes down on the gas tank on that corner.
Mhm.
It's that yoke is catching it barely.
Post
Really?
Just enough to knock just enough to dig into it.
Can you put the picture up on the screen, Jody?
Let me see if I can try to find it here. I got so many damn pictures of my car, like I'm sure most of you guys do. It's
Yeah.
insane to. Y'all go ahead and talk while I'm doing that because it might take me a minute.
I know, because I've been curious because I've wanted to do the rock.
With my eyes open, Scott.
My eyes are open, Scott.
The reason it's mine rubs too. Well, my drive shaft doesn't rub, but my bolts on my diff skid rub on my fuel tank skid plate. For the same reason, it's just his drive shaft is so much longer than mine that it makes a difference. But with the rock crawler kit, when the axle puts that passenger, so if this is, I'm trying to do it in reverse on the camera, it's not working out. So when his tire droops down like this, it moves, it lets the drive shaft sway this far just enough to start rubbing on the tank.
Okay.
He's got, we've been trying to troubleshoot how much movement he gets out of it, because it wasn't as bad until you switch the shocks, right, Jody?
Yes, that's the funny thing is that when I Dutch put it on there, I had those Radflow coilovers, had no sway bar, stock drive shaft. We went on back way to Crown King, which is not as intense as the Rubicon, granted, but it's still.
But it broke more parts than the Rubicon did.
Yeah, it did break RCV axle at that, and it destroyed the rear coilovers. But sorry guys, I'm still trying to find these. It's like looking at a needle in a haystack. But but I never noticed it rubbing. And and if I saw any rubbing when I crawled under it, it was just like very slightly. which that way, because that's the one of the reasons why I bought those, is because I was like, okay, well, it just barely rubs without it, so this should solve it, right? No, and then of course they had to replace the coilovers in the back, and it did it worse. And I don't understand that either, because it's kind of weird now with those rears Rock Jock sway bar. So I'm not real high on them right now. I got to call them because I had to buy the extended links. The longer I made the links, it seems like the better it helped it. But as I was trying to remove the links here last couple weekends, the ones I had on there for less than a month have already seized the thing. So I can't even get the damn thing off, which is kind of pissing me off. You know, I was like, I live in a freaking desert where there's no rain. There's no reason for that thing to seize.
Right.
So you're sure the rear end's not actually moving side to side as
It is only on the down.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when it's unloaded, when the one tire is unloaded, that's when it has big hammer, bro. That's when it has enough. So like if you're driving on the highway, it can't do it because the triangulated upper arms keep it locked into place. It's only when it has room to go down and slightly over this way when it's unloading.
Okay.
Now, Scott, mine did the same thing. I sent Jody a picture if he can put that up too. The bolts are my problem, not the actual drive shaft. And
is it
I'm sure
or just rubbing?
It didn't make any noise, but it grooved it out pretty good.
Yeah.
Have you guys talked to Rock Crawler at all to see if they've had any issues or?
Well, the issue.
The one time, yeah, I was going to say the one time I talked to them, they were not very helpful.
You said Rock Jock or Rock Crawler?
Rock Crawler.
I'm sorry. Rock Crawler, they basically told me to go to Rock Jock, and Rock Jock, they acted like they were even vaguely familiar with it.
Mm-hmm.
So it was kind of like, yeah.
My particular issue is, so I think it's Jody with Jody's coilovers that he has, those extended coilovers from ADS that he has, they need to be tuned in conjunction with his adjustable control arms. They need to get all that dialed in at once. My issue is the Next Venture Motorsports diff skid and skid plate system, like what Scott has. They were designed to work on a stock suspension or just coilover lift Bronco, not one that has the rear geometry changed. So for me and Scott's issue is Next Venture not planning for how much the rear axle is going to be able to articulate with the Rock Crawler kit.
All right, guys, can you see this?
Yeah.
Okay, so you can see right here, this is that metal lip I was telling you about. That's what's hitting right now. You can see here, this is the RCI aluminum skid plate. We've had the local shop trim quite a few of that off. In Deutsch Off-Road, when they initially installed the Rock Crawler kit, which you can see up here, they initially trimmed it off because they had it hit some with the Next Venture Motorsports fuel diff skid, which I removed because of this purpose. Sorry, go ahead, Evan.
If you look at that, I'm trying to figure out where to point on the screen. If you look at that, your driver's side upper control arm, the nut is not set on the link.
Huh.
It's just sitting there. I bet you could spin that by hand.
Well, no, I have to go look at it. I thought that was here. Let me pull it. See if I can find a better look at it here. Oh, that's a good look at the.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, it sounds a lot worse. You can see it a little bit right there. It's still kind of blurry. I can't remember if it's.
Oh, it is at the end of the link. Okay, mine has more of a gap than yours does. They threaded mine and tuned mine out.
Yeah.
So you need to have your links adjusted.
Yeah, I'll reach out to Todd over at Deutsch and see what he recommends. He might know somebody, or if not, I can reach out to SDHQ or somebody.
That's a good.
I'm afraid how much it's going to cost to have them do that, though.
Do you think the issue is how they positioned the truss going over the differential? You know, is it too far back or too far forward, or how did it line up?
I mean, it looks just like Heaven's and everybody else's I've seen.
So, so Jody is the first one to have the drive shaft contact the fuel tank itself. They knew about people having issues on certain fuel tank skid plates, ones that had the extended lip coming in towards the center of the vehicle. They knew that was going to be a problem, but they figured you could tune it out of it using the adjustability of the links. But when they tested their kit, the 4-link kit itself, it was done in conjunction with their coilovers, which have an up travel limiter and a down travel limiter. So you can tune it to make sure it doesn't hit where you don't want it to versus having to add external bump stops or anything else.
Okay.
And that's one thing, reason why I'm thinking those super springs may help me out, Derek.
Yeah, because it'll slow that.
Because Trail Militia told me that theirs did limit their up travel. I don't know if you had a chance to, because I know you'd mentioned it might, but Trail Militia told me theirs did limit theirs.
Yeah, so we left that just kind of an open-ended question to get, interaction and stuff. Talking with the guys at Sumo Springs, under full compression, it won't limit your travel because they'll just continue to smash and smash and smash. But what I feel like is because the IFS, as soon as one of the tires, front or rear, is going to unload, then that stops pushing that Sumo Spring up. Yeah. And so then it kind of does act like a limiter. But I haven't really felt it hurt anything since we had them on. Here again with the 37s and stuff now, it does feel different off-road because it's totally changed. But I don't think it limited a ton. But it definitely, slows it down. So the nice part with those is they're super simple to install. Literally, it's just one U-bolt goes right over the housing. So you could try it, and if it does limit you, they can come off really easy.
Yeah. Yeah, so, I think I'm going to have to try it too. Just because, even the trails around here I've been on since, I don't know, it's not too big of a deal, but, if I'm going to be at United by Bronco or go back to the Rubicon or some of these harder trails, I am going to need that fixed. I've thought about taking a hammer and trying to push the corner of the fuel tank in a little bit, but I don't know if that'd be safe to do or, that sort of thing. Even Evan and I think talked about last time we were on here. You guys were as the one y'all missed, but I think we talked about wonder if it's possible to put a 2-door fuel tank in a 4-door.
Oh, a little shorter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know where it would sit though. If it still sits towards the back, it wouldn't help me out any. But
yeah,
I would have to go more towards the front.
Yeah, definitely.
Right. If you find bolts that'll work for that, please let me know where you found them, because that's one thing that Next Venture did suggest for at least the issue me and him are having is finding a rounded head bolt. I talked to them about having a custom upper bracket made because Jody, will you post a picture of my skid plate that I sent you?
Did you send it to me by phone?
And it was on Facebook Messenger.
Okay, yeah, I'll get it. I don't see it. I can wait for it to sync up.
The reason that the bolts are an issue is because the diff skid bolts to the rear diff cover and then wraps up to the yoke, and then there's a top shield that goes over and sandwiches it around the differential, and they use carriage bolts on the inside, and then the bolt heads go in from the outside in, and it's the bolt heads that rub. And they suggested getting a button head, like a rounded head bolt, but the problem is getting it to thread tight. So his idea of using a rounded Allen head might solve the issue.
I hadn't got it yet, Evan. I don't know if you sure you sent it?
Well, I sent it the other day. Hold on a second.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you meant you just sent it. Oh, let me scroll then.
No, I got you. Hold on a second.
So instead of doing that, you utilize like a riv nut and put it in the inside of that piece and then run the bolt in that way.
So the weird part is about the Next Venture setup is it has 3 holes in the bottom portion, and the rearmost hole holds the carriage strip in place on the inside.
Oh, okay.
And then the top hat bolts through the front 2 holes, which is fine for the driver's side. My idea for them was on the passenger side, have that bracket go around to the 3rd hole and bolt in just through the 3rd hole and have the front 2 holes hold in the
here yet.
the front two holes. What are you doing, Joey?
Take it off. I always say memes.
The front two holes just hold on the carriage bolt strip.
Just be glad there was no X-rated photos on there. One was a lady. There's a meme that says your whole name, and instead of saying like the street you live on, it says your first name and your last name. I saved that for some friends.
Careful, Scott. The ATF is listening.
Let's see. Well, it's not synced yet. I'm waiting for it to sync to cloud. Maybe it shows up later on where you.
Yeah, no, it's just interesting because you'd think that they'd have all the stuff, the little bugs sorted out of it. But one thing you said that they designed it with their suspension, I wonder if that's what they would hold to is, oh, you have to have our coilovers and it won't do that? Or has it still had the same issue with their setup?
From what I've seen on theirs, when you're running their coilovers and you just have it tuned on that specific, the back passenger side is only going to have so much up travel. It doesn't allow it to articulate enough on that side to touch.
Okay.
So you lose a little bit in that particular, you lose a little bit of articulation in that particular situation, but every other time you're getting the most out of it.
Okay.
Well,
Just damn thing's taking forever. Just
our eyes and call it a day. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Good Lord. This thing's taking forever. Sorry, guys.
Do you want me to send it to your phone instead?
No, I mean, it's syncing through iCloud regardless because I saved it to my pictures. Let me favorite it and see if that helps.
So I had the only trip that the fuel tank skid has on it is the Rubicon and a little bit of playing around on public land in Nevada and Utah on the way out there. But so the fuel tank skid was immaculate before we left, and that's what it looked like whenever he gets it loaded when we got home.
Okay.
For some reason, it is not coming over yet. Damn it.
Come on, Joe.
Well, I found this other photo you sent me earlier. I'll share it real quick while we're waiting.
It better not be the Richard Nixon photo.
No, but thanks for the idea. Let's see if this doesn't really show it. It shows this is Evan's. I think this is not yours.
That's not mine.
Nope, sorry. Damn it. A little technical difficulty here, guys. Bear with us. Oh, Lord. We should have planned this a little bit better.
We got off topic. It's fine.
Yeah.
Man, because I was thinking it might be because it places it where the picture was taken instead of it being on here. Shit.
Yeah. Well, that makes a lot more sense of what you guys are experiencing. Just, the light little talking that I've heard about it. I didn't know how it was actually doing it.
Yeah.
So,
Just in the right circumstance, it just so happens that the Rubicon puts you in the right circumstance more than once.
yeah.
Yeah, because like in that one spot, I remember when it was the worst, is when Mean Green, he and I were talking about in chat the earlier day, was that one obstacle where you're coming at it and the only tire going up is the driver's side front. And it's like damn near straight up. And it was really beating the shit out of it. Well, my phone says it's synced, but for whatever reason, it's not coming across on my MacBook. So
You get the idea.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Scott knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, Scott knows everything. He's one of those people. He's one of those people you go to and you want to know something.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Exactly.
Next venture is working on their upgraded skid plates for Broncos with added articulation. So,
Oh, nice.
That's awesome.
if you don't already have the set, they'll be perfect.
No.
At this point, if nothing else fails, I'll just get a damn aftermarket fuel cell and go full triangulated.
Mm-hmm.
So that's honestly where my brain was kind of going was like the one company, Titan Fuel Tanks. That's what they do. They're just probably an hour north from us. And it might be something worth reaching out and being like, hey, this is what's happening with Broncos. And if they could like shorten that back corner of the tank or push it over somehow and, redesign it in that regard, that seems like that would take care of it too. But how many people are going to want to switch their fuel tank,
Yeah.
Yeah. That's just it. Most people are looking to add a second fuel tank, not replace the one they got.
Yeah. So, and that's usually what they do specifically is they produce larger fuel tanks for
Trucks,
farm equipment and stuff like that. But it's like OE replacement style stuff that they do. So
extended range would be nice.
Here we go. Finally.
we are not most people.
yeah, fair enough.
And that's in a good way.
Yeah.
All right, y'all ready for the big premiere?
It's not that exciting.
We've been waiting.
We've been waiting.
We've been keeping our fans, our audience, waiting forever. Ta-da!
Oh yeah.
So much excitement.
So yeah, that's just from the bolt heads rubbing. So yeah, those weren't like that when we left.
So is that technically 3 witness marks that it's doing?
It's 2. The other one is just the weld. I don't know why I'm pointing at my screen.
Talking about right here. That's actually just the weld.
Yeah, that's just the weld.
So is that one, but this one's
Those 2 right there. Just
Okay.
so the Vamper marks.
And that's the bolt of the skid plate hitting.
correct. So this piece again, I'm pointing at the damn screen. So also when we got back from the Rubicon, I don't know if you guys have heard, but I dropped my laptop the minute we finished the podcast. As soon as we got home with Ed, I stood up from the table and I dropped my computer and shattered the screen. So I'm using my laptop to do the recording, but I'm watching everything on my TV monitor, which is why I keep looking up I'm trying to touch my screen, but it's a TV screen and it's not going to work. But yeah, the black hoop across the top, that's the top hat that sandwiches the plate, the bottom to the diff itself.
Okay.
I guess I could have taken a picture where you could see the 2 bolts that are there to get on. But if it swooped over the top and then cut towards the back third hole on the passenger side only, it wouldn't be an issue.
Okay.
So this is almost the exact same spot mine is. I think mine might be like right in here. But it's right there near that same area.
See, you can see in that picture, though, how much my links are extended out compared to yours, Jody.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You can actually see thread.
Yeah,
Did the bolt hit the tank?
it did rub it a little bit, that little piece up at the top. Yeah. That might have been when I dropped down onto it, though. That might have been a forced situation.
Yeah. Could be. We had some fun those days. Next time we're getting Derek and Monica out there with us, they won't have SEMA to use as an excuse.
Right. I felt so bad. Ed, I know that he was really looking forward to hanging out, number one, but man, if we would have went to the Rubicon, we would have not made it. Like, for sure the body kit wouldn't have happened, but
Yeah.
I feel like even a few other things I wouldn't have had enough time.
I don't feel too bad because he told us he liked us better anyway.
Fair enough.
Yeah, Scott, that's why I reached out to him about a solution, because I was like, this is not going to work out for me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, hopefully you can come up with something, because there again, that's something that I still want to do, but I'll wait till you guys figure it out and then I'll do it.
Oh, and so like all the other diff skids that don't have the top, like is it the DV8 one that bolts in along the bottom, but it doesn't bolt in over the top? That wouldn't have that issue.
Well, I don't know, Derek, if you remember, Monica, I did email y'all about the Metal Cloak one because I think it would give more clearance because it's not up past the yoke like the Next Venture Motorsports is.
Yeah, it's a little bit shallower back, but it still has the piece that goes up over the top, but it's much thinner. Like that one looks
not that big.
way, thicker.
Yeah.
And you can't use the diff skid that interferes with the truss. That's the reason why I had to get rid of that old RCI one I had.
Okay.
Because it wrapped over
that's
the
about-
axle tubes.
Yeah.
See if I have.
Yeah, because like the Metal Cloak one goes around the whole axle tube, so you wouldn't be able to use that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. See, Scott, aren't you glad you have a Raptor? You don't have to worry about trying to add more flex because you already got a shitload.
He's all set.
Yeah.
I've been looking at Raptor, Scott.
And I tell you what, those desert, is it called desert sand or something like that, whatever the color is,
Mm-hmm.
and the marsh gray ones, man, I've seen pictures of those. They don't look like a computer generated picture, but they look super nice. I would die to have one of those.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're trying to figure a few things out.
They're cheap now, right?
Yeah, cheap.
Yeah.
Nothing's cheap, Scott.
Yeah.
The Ford lot down the street from me here that I get my oil change at, they got like 9 of them. I shit you not, 9 Raptors last I counted, and probably about 15 regular Broncos.
Yeah.
And they're advertising below MSRP, but I can't remember exactly how much.
Yeah.
Yeah,
After
desert.
riding in Roach's Raptor
Oh yeah.
for SEMA,
That's
'cause
what sold me.
we didn't have a Bronco, so we got to ride with Austin and RJ
Yeah.
most of the trip, and boy,
Yeah.
it goes.
Well, with that tune he's got on there,
Yeah,
I mean, he was barking the tires through all the gears. I was like, I need that.
yeah.
Yeah. Now, does he has a Ford Performance too, I'm assuming, or does he have like an aftermarket one?
Special one.
I
I
don't
don't remember
recall
the
what it
name.
was.
Scott knows.
Yeah.
So Evan's father-in-law, they had a Raptor for a little while. They don't have it no more, but he got to drive it a little bit. I don't think you ever got to drive it off road though, did you, Evan?
Nope, just the flex ramp at Broncopalooza.
Yeah, and it by far, out flexed all of us.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't even close. And I think we got 1 or 2 classic Broncos on there, and they didn't flex near as much.
No.
Yeah.
It was just amazing how much that flex was.
Well, that live valve stuff is impressive. Like doing the research and reading on it, and then seeing how it works. It does some cool stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I'll be honest with you. If I had a Raptor, I would not be changing the shocks. I might change the springs, maybe, but not the shocks. I'd leave those bad boys alone. I'd probably want to put 38s on one, though. I doubt I'd go to 40s.
Yeah.
Maybe put some better bump stops. Of course, I don't plan on.
That's a valid question for Scott. Would a 38 rub with jumping?
Well, that's just after I say I don't need to get my pilot. I don't plan on to get my pilot license anytime soon either.
You say that until you have one.
Yeah.
No. I don't plan on jumping in at United by Bronco either.
Yeah,
so.
I don't know how much we want to hang out with us at UBB, but
I'll sit there and film you guys doing it, and I'll send you the video. I think, yeah.
Sand Hollow is a lot of rock crawling, but the dunes are endless out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Well, at least it's saying you have a softer landing, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
And that way, when it breaks, when you're kneeling down, it doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
So.
Warm sand, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Well, there's many people there. If I did break something, hopefully somebody would be able to kind of help me out, figure out what goes wrong with it.
Yeah.
Is that United by Bronco where Bronkbuster
Yep.
Yeah.
broke theirs last year?
Broke the spindle, didn't it, or shock mount or something in the front?
Depends on who you
Oh,
ask.
yeah. And it's when the knuckle broke.
Yeah.
Yeah. When we were jumping.
Yeah. We got bored that day. Just decided to jump Broncos.
Yeah.
Did Ed ruin his? Or I should say Karen's. Did he ruin her diff front drive at United by Bronco, or was that somewhere else?
Oh,
Yep,
yeah.
that was the one. That was the first United that we'd ever gone to.
But that's where shoot came from, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. That was the first UBB.
We're cursed every time we go to that shoot. I'll
Oh,
tell
yeah.
you what, this time we pull up into the shoot and I'm a little nervous. I'm trying to figure out how, wide the body
Yeah.
panels are now. I pull up onto it and start going up it, and it kicked out of 4-wheel drive into 2-wheel drive. And I was like, oh, well, 4-wheel drive would help. So I'm halfway up this thing waiting for it to shift, and finally shifts and just crawls right up it.
Every time we go to the
So-
shoot, something happens. The time before that, we had no 4-wheel drive, no goat modes.
Yeah. And so I disconnected the battery for 10 minutes. It refired back up, and we were able to go up it.
Yeah.
I think everybody's had that happen at least once so far.
It's
Yeah.
a curse.
Although that time, to be fair, my ARB air compressor, I poorly installed it and it ripped off a bracket on the firewall. So it was losing ground to a computer, to one of the modules for the transfer case.
Yeah.
So rightfully so, it was telling me there was a problem. I just didn't care, So, but yeah, the chute.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's where Ed broke the intermediate shaft on Karen's Bronco, and we had to.
The Badlands.
Yeah, had to take and. Well, he broke the intermediate shaft. We didn't know that part. He also broke the CV shaft, so we fixed that. But then there again, still no goat modes or anything. Didn't want to go into 4-wheel drive, so we did scenic road tours for the rest of it. It was great. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So,
well, if I get on the chute, I'm gonna have at least one of you all or somebody help spot me, since it'll be my first time on it.
oh yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
So the shoot challenge, I don't remember what day it is. I'm pretty sure it's Friday.
Yeah, Friday, I believe. Isn't it?
That's when everybody's at the shoot.
Yeah.
It's packed, but there's a lot of eyes on you. And
Yeah, I signed up for that day.
Hmm?
Oh, so I signed up for the shoot challenge. I signed up for the grudge thing, even though I know I'm not going to beat anybody.
We've never been able to make it to the grudge.
Yeah.
Something always happens.
Yeah.
Last year we were, Lord knows
working
where.
on Broncos.
Yeah.
We're working with Chris Fields' Bronco. That
Oh,
time.
yeah.
Yeah. So, but
That would be the one, if I had to miss one, that would probably be the one I'd least be upset about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's fun to watch the early Broncos in the sand
yeah.
where they do the races.
So the shoot's intimidating because there's a lot of content on that out there. But once you see it and you understand that the rocks are almost like a stair step, especially with a 4-door, you can really feel the rear tires as they dip down in. As long as you just keep a steady throttle through it, it'll just climb right up it. It's very intimidating the first time. I was scared as hell to do it. I won't lie. I watched probably 30 people do it, and I finally was like, all right, now's the time. Like, I got to. But after that first time, you kind of get, that your feet wet. All of a sudden, it's like, oh, shoot, no big deal. You just drive right up it and go around and do it again.
Yeah.
So I have to imagine it's kind of like doing Hell's Gate.
Yeah. Yeah, and like watching that, because I've never been on that, it looks super intimidating. Yeah. I'm like, oh man, I don't know if I want to do that. But there again, once you're in person and see it and experience it, I'm sure it's different.
Yeah, I did it in the 4Runner I had, which is not near as equipped as that Bronco. And it did it really, I mean, as long as, of course, it's more of a V-notch than the chute is. The tip I always heard was straddle the V. And just like you said, take that slow, steady, have spotters, because it's very easy, because the way that V shifts going up, it's very easy to let yourself get off to where next thing you know, you're pretty much almost on your side. But yeah, that 4Runner, of course, 4Runner didn't have front locker. It just had a rear locker in that A-track, and it did it pretty easily. We had Lauren and Vaughn there spotting us. That's the first time I saw them. But yeah, I want to see the chute. Based on the videos I see, it's kind of hard to tell because cameras always hide how steep something really is. Because some videos, it doesn't look like it's too bad as far as just steep.
I don't remember the degree. We looked at it one time.
Yeah, when you're standing at the bottom, that's when you're like, oh boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, when a vehicle's going up it and you can see quite literally the edge of the grill, like it's steep.
Yeah.
But
okay.
There again, it feels really good once you. I mean, the way the rocks are out there, the traction's just totally different too. Unless there's moisture on the rocks or a lot of sand, then it's different.
Yeah.
But yeah, we can go out before the chute challenge.
Yeah, if you want to do it before everybody's there.
Yeah.
That's reasonable.
Ask myself. Yeah, Scott, you're totally right. The drop down in the Hell's Gate, I thought the same thing. Because I scraped the shit out of I had a steel bumper on the back of that 4Runner, and it was 3 inches of lift and 34s, which is big for a 4Runner, but it scraped bigger than crap. But hell, Vaughn and Lauren, they had a damn Bronco Sport on there. And they went down and up that thing 3 times at least. I know while we were there. That was before the Broncos were even for sale yet. They were out there it's the same time as Bronco Safari. I think it's 2021 before the first ones hit the lots. This is the first time I ever saw one. But and Lauren did it in reverse in his full size. Yeah, that descent is definitely rougher. Yeah, well, yeah, it'd be interesting to see. Sure, you don't want to come out there, Evan?
Trying.
You didn't say no.
I'll take that as
We're not.
maybe.
We have obligations the weekend before, so doing them back to back is going to be interesting.
Mm-hmm. I think we have the Bronco games the weekend.
Yeah, you all do. You'll have that event up there.
And then we'll go to UBB that same week, basically. So.
Yeah, our plans are not that fun.
I know Edna had mentioned some event that was up in, was it Sturgis, Evan?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So we looked into that. That might be something considered. But so just, I know Evan knows this, but my mom just got diagnosed with ALS. So my plans could definitely greatly fluctuate, depending on what happens with that. Bronco stuff takes a back seat. But
absolutely.
Yeah. So, but if it allows, I might try to make that one. That's going to be a heck of a journey because that's like I think from Phoenix, it's like at least a 2-day trip each way. Yeah.
I think you can handle it, Jody.
What's that?
I think you can handle it.
Oh, I can handle it. It's just having the PTO and doing other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because
I still want to do Overland Expo again, West, the one up here in Flagstaff, which I think is a blast. It reminds me a lot of SEMA, just with all the outdoor shit with the drifting and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's not, it's more, it's definitely, it's kind of like, what hall was it you guys? Y'all were in the West Hall, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of like the West Hall of SEMA on steroids. You don't have all those other halls full of sports cars and cheap Chinese knockoff stuff. It's just all your big overland, off-road vendors, most of your influencers that you see from all brands. I can't tell you how many people I saw there. I saw Caleb there, talked to him, saw Quinn and 74 Weld Team there. It's a ton of stuff to look at. It's one of those things. It's like you don't want to just go one day. You want to go at least 2 days just so you can see everything and soak it all in.
I'd like to make it to that this year. We've always talked about it, but
No.
timing is everything. We were out of PTO by like March last year.
Yeah.
For this year, so.
Yeah, I hear you on that one.
Yeah, when the SEMA deal come up, I told my work, I was like, look, either I'm going to do this and come back and have a job, or I'm going to do this and come back and find a new job. Like, there's no in between here. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
We're still both employed, so.
Yeah.
Yay.
So,
Scott, nobody's doing the after shoot. Unless you want to.
So Scott, I don't know. Hope you're going to be at United by Bronco.
What's PTO? Oh, Scott's going to be there.
Yeah. I think Austin said he wasn't sure.
It sounds like he may not be able to make it this year, which sucks.
Yeah.
He's a cool dude.
So,
awesome.
Awesome. So Scott, you can let me drive yours. I'll jump it. He's like, nah.
Hey, I've driven that Bronco around in a parking lot, but hey, I drove it. So
I'm sure Fabian and them will be there.
Yeah. Yep.
So that'd be fun. Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Anybody have anything else they want to chime in on?
Yeah. Just looking forward to the upcoming year stuff.
Yeah.
So.
Whole new year.
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. Well, me too. I can't wait to see you guys again. It was awesome meeting you guys up in Vegas, and hopefully next time we'll actually have some dirt under us when we're hanging out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Evan,
A lot less noise.
Yeah.
That will be nice.
Yeah.
Man, I tell you what, walking outside of there, it was just like a wave of burnt tire and VHT all in your face. And I was like, man, my clothes and everything, my hair, everything's going to smell like it. Because
every morning, the Bronco would have rubber settled down on it inside the West Hall. So we had to wipe it down every morning. I mean, you're at SEMA, you got to wipe it down. But yeah, it was literally, you could tell it was little chunks of rubber that were coming in through the ventilation stuff. So, yeah.
Because I don't think I ever walked outside without hearing somebody just giving it hell.
Yeah.
rev limiters for
Right.
days.
Yeah, I mean they had a burnout contest and they had the drift racing and they had some other stuff out there too. I didn't really go over to see. I saw some of the other Bronco guys outside, Trail Hunter USA, who I've met before.
Oh yeah, he
Yes.
stopped by.
Yeah, nice
So many
guy.
cool
Yeah.
people.
Got a couple of German Shorthair pointers too, so we have a lot in common in that regard.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Saw the turnoff road, that beautiful Raptor that had the mouse thing on the doors. I
Yeah.
don't know what you call that. You know,
Mayhem.
Mayhem. Yeah.
yeah. Wait, you have hair. Who's he talking to? Me or Evan?
I wasn't
Probably me.
getting
I got a little left.
rubber in my hair.
Scott.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. All right.
Okay.
Well, hell, everybody, y'all good for tonight?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're sorry.
Awesome. Hopefully see everybody in 2 weeks. If not, we'll keep you posted. And have a happy Thanksgiving with your family. Try not to spend too much money Friday or between now and then. Don't end up like me and Derek and Evan, with huge debt.
Affirm.
Yeah.
Affirmed.
Spot-
Oh, that guy gets back to what I was going to say earlier. I don't have anything on my list because I'm still paying off everything that I bought to go on the Rubicon. So,
Yeah.
Yep.
anyway, all right, everybody, join us. Thank you for watching. Look forward to seeing everybody again, and we'll holler at y'all later.
Awesome.